Hi, I'm Selena, and 4 years ago, things were a lot different for me. I had no friends, I did horrible at school, and on top of it all, I used to sit at a table alone every day at lunchtime. No one bothered to even talk to me. Often, I had lunch in the school's bathrooms because all the tables were full and no one invited me to sit with them. That went on for 2 years. By the time I was 17, I was at home, alone, with no friends, and I weighed almost 200 pounds. My classmates hated me. My teachers hated me. I hated myself. My life was hell. I didn't want anyone to know about my problems, so I pretended everything was okay in front of my mom. But one day, I noticed that my secret notebook was gone. I looked for it everywhere until I found it with my mom. She had noticed it was under my pillow, and she read everything. Every single bad thing I was going through. My mom was in tears. After that, Mom decided to send me to therapy. The therapist thought the best option for me was to move to the city and be homeschooled. It was the fresh start I needed, and while it made me feel better about myself, my life was as boring as it could possibly be. No happy birthday, no prom, no boyfriend to share it with. Since I didn't have to do much other than studying, I finished school before I was 18. My teacher then suggested that I follow a science career. He thought I was very smart. That was the first step to changing my whole life. The fact that a teacher believed in me for the first time in years reminded me I was not stupid. I became more motivated, and I decided to change my life. I started going to the gym and losing weight. I studied for my LSAT and got the highest score possible. On my 18th birthday, I received a letter from the university. I was accepted. I finished college by my early 20s and got a job immediately as a structural engineering assistant at a major company. I was doing really well at my first job, and soon enough, I was given my first independent project. I couldn't believe how much I'd changed since high school. I wasn't the loser kid anymore. I was somebody. But then, my world flipped upside down when I found out where my first project was gonna be. My old school. My nightmare school. The school wanted to make some structural changes to the building, and they'd hired my company for it. I tried to pass the job to another person, but no one would take it. I was at the edge of a panic attack. The day finally came, and I took a deep breath as I stood still like a statue in front of the main building. It was the very first day of school, and the parking lot was packed. My nightmare was all over my memory again. I won't lie, I felt insecure. I forced myself inside the building, passing through the students like an aisle to hell. But then the weirdest thing happened. A hot, tall, built guy, probably a senior, passed next to me and said, "Hi, beautiful." Smiling. I froze. Did he just call me beautiful? I smiled back, and he stopped walking and came back towards me. Oh no. Breathe, Selena, breathe. Are you new? I haven't seen you around, he said. Yes? It sounded like a question. I coughed. Yes, I said, more convincingly now. He scanned my entire body and winked at me. Nice. See you around, he said. Then a girl passed next to me and complimented my clothes. Was I dreaming? It had to be a dream. I continued to the main office to introduce myself to the headmaster so I could begin my work. But when I was about to enter, a group of beautiful girls, probably the popular ones in high school, stopped me and asked me what classes I had. I don't know, I said, still a bit frightened. I was going to find out now. Let us help you, one said. And they all got inside the office with me. What would I say? I was obviously not on the students list. The secretary said it was normal, that sometimes the files came in late. One of the girls said she was a senior and asked me if I was a senior. I don't know why I said yes. Everything happened so fast, I had no time to explain anything. I had to act surprised as they showed me around, even though I knew every corner of that school. They were laughing, chatting, and introducing me to everyone. I didn't know how it happened, but by lunchtime, everyone was saying hi to me as if we were old friends. When we got inside the cafeteria, I panicked again. I wasn't sure what to eat. But then again, through the past 3 years, I got used to eating healthy food. So I grabbed a fruit and a juice and continued. They started laughing, and I thought, oh no, they're laughing at me. But then one of the girls said she was so jealous of me by only eating one fruit and asked me how I could do that. I told them that my secret was to eat less, more times a day. Then we walked towards the table, talking about diets and such. I hesitated before sitting with them, but they quickly opened a space for me. It was a dream. It really was a dream. For the first time in my life, I was popular. The hot guy that spoke to me earlier, whose name was Ashton, came to our table and sat next to me. God, he was handsome. And he smelled really nice, too. What are you doing, Selena? You're going to jail for this. But, as if my dream wasn't spectacular enough, he said his 18th birthday was next week and asked me personally if I would go to his party. I froze again. I looked at the other girls. They were smiling, chilling. I guess they were obviously invited, and I was the only one that hadn't confirmed yet. Yeah, sure, I said as casually as possible. But then I remembered I had to be back in the city next week. Dang. Well, since I was already lying, what would another small lie do? I would tell my boss I needed more time and stay at my grandma's, who was still living there. I talked to my boss and lied to him. And then I talked to my sister and lied to her too, saying that I was working at our old school and they'd told me they needed a copy of her ID for archive reasons. I don't know how she believed me, but she sent me a copy by mail, and on the very next day, I was at school again. Now, not as Selena, but as Sarah. The popular girls asked me about it, and I said it was a family thing, that they call me Selena as a loving nickname. Man, I was making up lies faster than I could manage. That first week passed like a wind. I was with the popular girls every day, hanging out in school and after. We went shopping together, and now that I had money and an amazing body, I bought myself a really nice dress for the party. I went to the party feeling really good about myself. Hello, birthday boy, I told Ashton when I saw him. He scanned me again and smiled. I hope you were my present, he said. I was in heaven. I went to the dance floor, and I honestly don't remember much after that. Only that I was in a dream I hoped would never end. His kisses, they were another universe. It was the best night of my life. The next day at school, I was in the bathroom when I heard some girls coming in. I thought I heard my name, so I stayed inside and listened. That dress, one of the girls yelled. I must ask Selena where she got it from ASAP. I smiled, thinking that they liked my sense of fashion. But then all of them started laughing. Were they being sarcastic? Oh, Ashton, kiss me, my birthday boy. Mwah, one of them continued as they all laughed. I couldn't believe this. I thought the popular girls liked me. Tears started running down my cheeks. I couldn't believe that everything was fake. I was so involved with this high school life that I'd completely forgotten to call my boss with work progress. I wasn't answering his calls or messages either. So, before I knew it, I saw him standing at the school's hallway, talking to students as soon as I stepped out of the washrooms. I don't think I have to tell you what happened next. I saw my classmates standing next to him. They pointed at me. I could tell they were mad right away. They already knew everything. They found out I was lying. I don't really remember much after that. Everything escalated quickly. In no time, I had no more friends and no more job. My boss fired me instantly and left. My classmates walked away without even letting me explain. I even saw Ashton standing there. He stared at me for a moment longer, then denied in silence and went back inside. I sat on a bench outside and stood there for a long time, like a ghost, as all the students got inside for class. I saw myself alone again. I didn't really care about all the fake friends I had around the school, but Ashton, he was different, and I had genuine feelings for him. He refused to hear me out, though. I tried to call him or contact him in any way, but he shut me down every time. There was nothing else for me to do in that town, so I collected my stuff and went back to the city. I felt like a loser again. I had no job, nothing to do, and I stayed home, eating away my feelings. But after a while, I got an email from my boss inviting me to a meeting. He was hoping we could sort things out. So I went, and I explained everything to him. He was shocked with my story. He even said he was sorry for being so tough with me. I got my job back, but I was not really happy. I was still thinking about Ashton. I thought that I would never see him again, but again, I thought wrong. I was walking outside my house, and I saw him standing there. I couldn't believe it was him. I walked up to him, and he stood in front of me for a long moment in silence. I couldn't find any words in my mind to speak either. So we just stared at each other. And then he broke the silence and said, I know you lied, and I hate you for it, but I can't help it because I'm in love with you. I can't stop thinking about you, Selena. All the air I was keeping in my lungs went out through my mouth, and all I could do was smile. I'm in love with you too, I told him. Ashton got closer and kissed me. I was on cloud 9.